Revelation 3208. From the 31st of July and the 1st of August 1944. The Word. Spiritual and earthly. The word that is not alive will fail to have an effect. It can certainly be spoken, but it lacks spirit and therefore does not awaken activity. And therefore the word must always be enlivened by the Spirit if it is to have an effect on the word's listener. It must be permeated by the strength which is the sign of life. And this life force only emanates from God. It is His Spirit which is expressed in His Word and which is truly life-giving. As the Word emanates from the human being, he must put all his conviction into it in order to exert an effect on his fellow human being. And he will be able to muster this conviction if he has previously received the Word from God. But if God Himself is not the source of the Word, then it can certainly be received by the fellow human being, but the effect will be absent. It is a human word and lacks the Spirit which brings it to life. It will not last, it will perish like everything earthly, it will not radiate strength and bring no noticeable blessing. It will be a dead word, even though it is advocated. The word must have inherent strength of conviction. The person must feel that what he speaks is truth. Then he will speak in such a way that it will not remain without effect on his fellow human being. Divine love gives people the Word in order to make itself known, and it gave people the ability to make themselves understood again through the Word. This gift of grace is immeasurable, for it means true life, because without the Word a dead state would prevail, a state of non-understanding, a dull living without knowledge of the other, of his thinking and life. Only the Word enlivens and makes people into independent thinking and acting beings who can have contact with each other, who can come into contact with each other through the spoken word, who can teach each other and convey their own thoughts and impressions to the other. But it must not be spoken thoughtlessly, it must be spiritually enlivened, thinking and speaking must correspond. Otherwise it does not awaken an echo but blows away at the ear of the other. For man was given intellect for this purpose. He can think before he expresses himself through the word. He is able to put meaning and spirit into what he speaks. And this by virtue of his intellect, as far as earthly things are concerned. But if the human being wants to be spiritually active, that is, convey words of spiritual content, the spiritual spark must have awakened to life in himself. If the word is to work, the word itself must be alive. The intellect as well as the heart must stimulate the fellow human being into activity. The intellect must think it through and the heart must stimulate the will to follow what is recommended to the human being through the word. Only then is the life in the word. It testifies to the Spirit of God if it awakens the spirit in the human being. For the word is the means of transmitting thoughts, it is the means of communication from person to person on earth and from God to the human being in the spiritual realm. The word is the sign of His greater than great love for people, it is the means to win souls for eternity. But on earth it is equally beneficial if it is used for the practice of unselfish neighborly love, if the word is offered full of love, even if it touches earthly things. But the word must always express what the heart feels, it must not be a dead word, thoughtlessly spoken and received without impression. Then it is not valued for what it is, as a form of expression of the innermost thoughts, as a means of transmitting what moves the heart, as an admonisher and warner against injustice, as an impetus for spiritual striving and as proof of divine love, which manifests itself in the word to all those who want to live and thus awaken the Spirit within them. For God is Spirit and can only speak to people through the Spirit and impart His word to them. Amen.